mainstream left media or the hardcore right conservatives. Not so much. There are lamestream. What does that even mean? News is news. What you focus on is what you focus on. You're going to have a bias. You're going to have a point of view. You're going to have an angle of attack. And as long as you don't run from that and you admit it, you're good with me. But don't try to sell what you're selling as the norm, the narrative, the fact, when really you're coming from a specific angle trying to serve a specific cause. And I will find out, like any critical thinker, I will figure out what your angle is. And there are very few agencies out there that are doing news that have no interest but serving the news as it happens. That went out in the 40s in America. What they want now is to sell their audience what it expects and what it's after. And what they're usually after is ammunition. I know a person that's very close to me, listens to Fox News religiously. This breaks my heart. And you know why. And I heard somebody say recently that I listen to Fox News because Fox News is the only channel that's not afraid to tell it how it is. Let me tell you what Fox News is. Fox News has three interests to protect: the white image, the corporate image, and the Christian image. The rest can go to fucking hell. That is what they serve to protect. Now you may say, well, those are the things that interest me. I want those things protected. Good. Go ahead and do that. But if you can call yourself fair and just and still believe that, then your cognitive dissonance is a valley that I don't think we could get across on a rope. You're out of touch with who you really are. So if you're racist in your heart and you think that's all right, all I'm asking you to do is justify it. If you're racist in your heart and you know that's not all right, I'm asking you to rethink things. Open up your mind a bit. Take fucking 10 minutes out of your pitiful life and imagine being another color or the other sex. Imagine being a gay if you're straight. And try to see the world through their eyes and gain some understanding. Because last time I checked, even though eugenics and the human genome and now this goddamn designer baby shit is becoming real, some news out of China today, so far as I've been able to detect, nobody gets to pick their race when they're born. So maybe they ought not be punished for whatever their race is. And why would you anyway? If I could choose my race before I was born and I said, let me be black, that automatically means I'm going to be stopped more by police. Under today's American model, it does. That means I'm going to be treated less fairly in employment opportunities. They have proven, study after study after motherfucking study, that employment agencies and corporations have purposely filtered through resumes, weeding out black names to not call back. The Takeshas, the Laquishas, the Jacons, the Taiwan. Well, I don't know any black dudes named Taiwan, but that would be pretty cool. It has an Olajuwon feel to it. Taiwan, Olajuwon, similar sound, similar, much different, because nobody can be Akeem Olajuwon, but still. Yeah, let's see what's going on in chat. We're going to keep this racism show running. Let's admit if we're going to be racist. Let's admit if we're not. And if we are racist and know it's not right, let's fix it. Stabby's in there. He's talking about albinos, white guys with minority last names. You have that? Yeah, and that's, this is something. Enough whites agree with a minority position. We're getting there. I agree, Stabby. There are plenty of white people. It's not just white people. There are plenty of black people now starting to see the white side of things. And I've had black people tell me before, I know some real niggas. I mean, they're just gangster. They don't do nothing right. They're always looking to cause trouble. And yet they themselves work hard to get their education and to do something meaningful in this world and to not harm others and to not do things that will be an expense to others. And they don't approve of these fellow blacks' behavior. So that's changing. That used to be universally black defended black. And there are still plenty of people that live as blacks to do nothing but defend all blacks. You want to know a way to peek into the American societal view of blacks and whites? Take a look at this upcoming fight, Mayweather versus Pacquiao. I want to talk a little about this anyway. I'm a boxing fan, always have been. I'm not really an MMA fan because that's a little too real for me. I mean, I studied the martial arts. I've had to use it in the streets. It's not fun. I've never had fun fighting. But when I look at the MMA, what I see is a very vicious street fight. where someone can get really hurt. Now, you might say in boxing someone would get real true, but they're limited. They do have the padding on the hands. They can't do chokeholds and shit. It seems a little less violent to me. I don't know. Something about it. Something about boxing is more... I like it as a sport. I don't like seeing people get hurt. But I like it probably because the limited tools you're allowed to use. You're an MMA guy. You've got 100, 150 good tools you can use. Fucking arm bars, everything. Boxer, you got a right and a left. Hook, uppercut, jab. We're done. You might have a cross or one of those hybrid punches that comes from a 45-degree angle. You know, it's half hook, half uppercut. Okay, so maybe you've got 5 pieces to work with, 10 if you count both hands. And it's like a chess game. So you got 10 types of pieces, but thousands of different ways to move them around. I like that. It's simple yet complex. That's really what chess is to me. And boxing is like chess. Whereas something like MMA is more like trying to decode the matrix. It's very difficult to know what a guy is going to do, and, you know, what a weird thing. Because it's almost like putting 2 random armies together from 2 random eras with random everything and saying, all right, let's see who wins. It's like, yeah, that's interesting, but there was no way to even try to predict this outcome because you don't know who's going to use what. It's sort of weird. But I say nuke them. You know, can you imagine the Mongols if they had nukes? Oh, they would have fucked some shit up. We'd all be speaking Mandarin today. That's how that goes. I don't know. I'm just talking now. I'm just kind of going off a little. I'm not as angry as I was when I started the show. Sometimes I do these shows to get stuff off my chest. I'm tired of the racism. I'm just tired of it. Just treat everybody fairly and equally. You can judge people based on their deeds. If you're a white guy, and you see a black guy fucking up, then you see a black guy fucking up. And you can disapprove of him, and you can judge him, and you can tell people about his behavior. But when you see a white guy doing the same thing, I expect you, if you call yourself fair, to equally expose that white guy for what he did. All right, you know in your heart if you're racist. You know in your heart if you're a little racist. You know in your heart if you have just a touch of preference for your own color. There are degrees here. We are talking about degrees. The whole scale is a sliding scale. Much like a boa constrictor moving quickly through the jungle. I'll get back to chat in a minute. Oh, God, I'm working so hard. Let me tell you, guys, let me update you a little bit on me again. You know the Caps have made it to round 2. How about that shit? Did not expect that, to be honest with you. I knew we could beat the Islanders, but I found it kind of 50-50. And the way they were playing, I thought no. But they did pull it out in Game 7, right down to the wire, 2-1. Well, now in the second round, we face the Rangers. Now, my heart says yes, let's go sweep them. And then win the third round versus Tampa Bay if they beat the Wings. And then we'll go on and play Anaheim in the finals. And we'll win a cup. Wouldn't that be great? 40 years on the circuit, no cup. But what my head says, and I've only recently been mature enough to be able to separate my heart from my head in sporting events and other issues, is that we're not going to make it past the Rangers. My head says that we've got about 6 world-class elite players on our team, and they've got about 10, and 10 is too many. So my head says we're done in 6 games with the Rangers, and they move on. But I want my head to be wrong. Also, in a rare agreement with my heart and head, jump over to the Pac-Man Mayweather fight. Rare agreement. Now, I don't like Floyd Mayweather. Don't like the way he behaves. Don't like the way he looks at the world. He thinks everybody owes him something. He's a great boxer. I'm not contesting that. Maybe some people will, but I'm realistic about that. But he's a defensive boxer. People like offense. Ask any dead gladiator. Here's what I think. Mayweather believes that he did it all himself. He had no help. He believes that he has found a way to separate his fans from their wallets, and he's very proud of himself for that. He believes that the whole world wants nothing more than to see him knocked out because they think he's dodged fights and they think he's not that good because he's a turtle in a shell. Okay, I can kind of buy that. I think they're right, really. Not a very exciting fighter, just like Joshua Clottey. You look at somebody like a Timothy Bradley, he might have some defense, but mostly offense. That's what we want to see. We want to see a battle of wills. That's what it comes down to in boxing. So you look at a Pac-Man. So he runs for Congress, wins. What can he possibly gain from being in Congress? He's the most famous boxer in the world today. And he's running for this little Congress in this little country that pays absolute shit and has all kinds of pressure. What do you think he's doing that for? He's doing it to serve. He is a server. He believes in giving to the community, giving to his people. And I hear people argue, well, Mayweather gave to charity. He gave millions. Millions? Out of $500 million? So what's that, 1%, 2%? Great job, Mayweather. You stroke the check. Manny's out there handing out packs of food in the mornings. There's a difference, folks. And these, if you want to talk about the better boxer, probably Floyd Mayweather. But if you want to talk about the better person, motherfucking for certain Manny Pacquiao. And that's Floyd's choice. I wanted to love Floyd, but I can't because he loves himself too much. He doesn't need me. That's ugly to me. I don't like that. I don't know. I mean, I guess that's just the way I was brought up. But I thought you were supposed to be appreciative of the people that helped you to get where you were. I don't know. I thought you were supposed to say thank you, fans, not I fucked you, fans. Ha ha ha. Who's smart? Who's smart? I'm smart. Money Mayweather. So I think what will happen in my rare, very rare head and heart agreement is that Pacquiao will win a 12-round decision on points. But the second most likely outcome, if that one's wrong, I think is Mayweather earning an early knockout on a counter right over one of Pacquiao's flurries. What do you guys think will happen? I'll check in the chat room if you're interested in this at all. Watching The Flash, sorry. 5x5, I know I've listened to your show before. I'm trying to remember what kind of show you did, like what you have to say on the realness of racism. Oh, thank you. Yeah, we're going to talk more about racism 5x5. And remember, as a white guy, I'm not earning new fans here. I'm not earning new respect. People you see right now, look at my followers, about 2,089. I suspect after this show circulates a little bit, that'll drop down to about 1,900. I don't care. I'm real. And I see it. And we all know what's fair. We fucking know what's fair. You know it when you look at it. You might not have learned it from your mama and daddy. You might not have learned it from your baby mama. You might not have learned it from your wilted-ass grandmama. And let me tell you something. Mike Milbury's face does look, unfortunately, like a retired golfer's ass. If he bent over, showed you the ass with the balls hanging down. That's what Mike Milbury looks like. If you don't know Mike Milbury, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. So, Pac-Man Mayweather, I got Pac-Man winning in a decision. Only because he has a very high punch output, and I think the judges will give him credit for that. And, we know that Floyd will fight when he's cornered, so don't be surprised. You saw Madonna rock him with a couple of wild hands from wild angles. You saw Shane Mosley, rubber wrist. He can't punch. He's fast, but he can't punch. You saw him rock Mayweather. So what's Mayweather have a problem with these days, over these past 5 years? He's got a problem with speed. If you come from a wild angle, if you have power. What fighter do you know has speed, power, and comes from wild angles? Well, there you have it then. So, pretty evenly matched fight. I say that in a very general sense because their strengths are entirely opposite. Floyd's the defender, Manny's the offender. Okay, both of them have weaknesses in the opposite area. Floyd does have a hard right. Don't underestimate his power. But he doesn't throw flurries. He's a 1-2. He's a 1-2. He's going to block, bam, bam on the counter. Manny's going to ba 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 ba, and then he's going to take 2 breaths and do that again. And if 6 or 7 of those land, Manny's doing his job. And what you got to worry about is if Floyd doesn't knock Manny out, or at least hurt him and knock him down in a few of the rounds, Manny's going to take it on points. If he can survive the fight, he's going to take it on points just from punch output. So I think Floyd's going to try to knock him out. If I were Floyd Mayweather, I'd go back in the corner and I'd stay there and I'd use my defense because they're teaching Manny right now. I know they are. They're teaching him lateral movement. They want him to get into the rib cage and the liver of Floyd Mayweather Jr. That's what they're aiming for. Bring that guard down. And that's the only way to do it. But if Floyd backs into a corner, his sides are covered, essentially. Manny can't jump around and move to the side, which is very dangerous for a fighter like Floyd, whose legs have slowed down a little bit. I'd back right into a corner, go into my turtle shell, and counter if I were Floyd. If he does that, what Manny's going to have to do is just repeatedly come up the pipe and use a lot of uppercuts to try to break that guard open because he's not getting in on the side and he's not getting in on top. I mean, he might get some in on the top of the head, but yeah, so I don't know. So I know you guys don't seem like boxing fans, so I'll keep it going here. Got to keep it moving. Very proud of my Caps for making it to round 2. I do not realistically expect them to make it to round 3, though I desperately want that. Well, 1974, folks, the Washington Capitals came on the scene. I was 2 years old. I was already watching them. They were the new team. They were the home team. And I was kind of, by the time I was 10 years old, we were coming up, let's see, if I was 72, so 80, I would have been 8 years old during the Miracle on Ice. I was a